I want to share a statement with you today. Stunned people worship God. In fact, let me say it again with a little twist on the emphasis. Only stunned people really worship God. When a man or a woman is stunned by God, it removes any distraction, any hindrance, any semblance of self that might enter into that worship. When we get impressed by Him with who He is and what He has done in our overly impressed state, we have to worship. Let's ponder this in the life of a man named Abram. Abram is promised at a very advanced age, 90 years old, that he's going to have a son with his seed through his bride, Sarai. Abraham at that point looks at himself and sees the wrinkles, looks at Sarai and sees the wrinkles, and then looks at his servant, Eleazar, and says, "Hey, God, how about this one? Let's have this one be my son. I'll adopt him." In other words, God, you got to be kidding. We are way past the age of childbearing. It's not going to happen. God says, no, this son, as promised, is going to come through your seed. Years go by. It hasn't happened. So Sarai gets the idea that God needs a little help. So she realizes she's past the age of menopause, but maybe Abraham still got some seed. So she offers Abram her handmaid Hagar and says, let's have a go at getting a son through this slave girl that we have. And lo and behold, Ishmael is born. And so they offer Ishmael and say, how about this one? He's come through my loins. He can be my son. God said, no, you're not listening. This son, as promised, will come through your seed, Sarah included. More time passes. By now, they're at a very advanced age. God visits the elderly couple personally and declares that in one more year, this promised son will come through the seed of the elderly couple. At that point, Sarah laughs. And read the text closely. Abraham chuckles. My question is this: do you see a lot of faith here? If you do, let's be honest, it's not very much faith. Well, the next year, as God had promised, against overwhelming circumstances, Sarai conceived, and the promised child, Isaac, is born. Wow. Do you think this stunned man worshiped God? I believe he did with all my heart. But we're not done yet. The real glory of this story for me comes when we get to the 4th chapter of Romans in the New Testament, where Paul, writing under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, says this. Watch this. Abraham never wavered in faith. Now, when you read that, if you're like me, you want to say, God, do you read your own Bible that you wrote? I mean, Abraham chuckled. Sarai laughed. There was not a lot of faith there. The glory, of course, then, how are we to explain that? Well, Jesus died for every sin of every man. Jesus died for that lack of faith. Jesus removed that stumble from Abram as far as the east is from the west, so that there's no record left of it. His wavering of faith is gone. Gone forever. Now let's put yourself in there. You've never wavered in faith. You've never doubted. You've never sinned. Oh, you have, but there's no record of it. I'm stunned. Are you stunned? Then from this point forth, let's worship Him. You and I together, as the Bible declares that we have never wavered in faith. Worship Him, you stunned ones. Worship Him. And walk in the blessings of His grace.